Hey everybody, it's Steve at the coal shop. It's a rainy Sunday afternoon and I figured I'd do a quick video on how to do a shutdown on your coal unit when you shut it down for the summer. This is my own unit at home. It's a Keystoker Coker Light direct vent, and it is tied into my ductwork, and it's got two 8-inch return lines that go into the filter boxes on both sides and the back. I shut this down earlier this week because I was starting to get fumes in the house. That's a pretty much sure sign that something's plugged in the direct vent system. I came down the other day after I shut it down, pulled the pipe off, and I don't think you can see it here, but I already vacuumed this out. There was probably an inch of fly ash built up in the bottom of this pipe. In the top of the light's not very good here. In the top of the blower, it was starting to build up a little bit. And then on the Keystoker direct vent units, you are able to remove the 3 bolts from the top, and this would be the same on either the top direct vent or the bottom direct vent units. There's 3 bolts in the bottom that hold it to the flue collar. You're able to loosen those bolts up and take the entire direct vent assembly right off. Then on top of your unit, there's 2 heat exchanger tubes that come to a point at the top. So on a top direct vent, it'd be in the back. On the back vent, it'd be down in the bottom. The back vents aren't quite as much of an issue, but these tubes need to be brushed or vacuumed out. And then on your direct vent, the bottom has an open channel that you can vacuum out, and the top, where your exhaust goes into the 4-inch pipe, has another channel that can be vacuumed out. And it's a good idea to go through the whole unit. You can bang it around on the top of the stove a little bit to get all the fly ash out, but you want to make sure it's perfectly clean before you put it back together. You can also take the 2 screws out of this slide plate on your direct vent housing. Just loosen those 2 screws. You can slide the cover out of the way and vacuum that out really well. And you want to make sure you go through your pipe also. You can either do that with a 4-inch pellet brush or a shop vac. As long as the unit's cool, it's fine to use a shop vac. You just don't want to use it if it's hot. And as far as the rest of the unit, I noticed a couple weeks ago the gasket started falling off this door, so when you shut it down for the season, you want to make sure your gaskets are in good shape. If they're not, these peel and stick that Keystoker uses, just take a file and brush that off, get it clean, vacuum the whole inside of the stove out, get all this fly ash off the doors, and you can re-glue a new gasket either in the fall before you start it up again or do it in the spring. And I used high temp red silicone on that gasket when I replaced it last year, just as a little extra strength to hold that on there. The bottom one's usually not quite as much of an issue, but same thing with the fly ash in the bottom of the doors. And then inside the stove, I don't maintain mine like I normally suggest our customers do. I like to run them a little bit harder to see if I can get things to break, so when you call me with an issue, I know what's going on. The fly ash in those back corners, those 2 corners, the left, you can't see the left that well, but the right side, they both go up at a V and meet at the point at the top of the unit. And those are the heat exchanger tubes that go behind the burn box up there. So that should all be vacuumed out. You can run these long handled brushes. We sell these, they're $10 or $12. You can run that down the heat exchanger tubes, clean it out really well. Vacuum the base of the unit. You want to make sure you vacuum or dump all of the ash off the grate, and you want to completely clean out your hopper so the entire stove doesn't have any coal or ash left inside of it. Before you go and vacuum everything out, you can just take a shovel, dig out the rest of the hopper, clear off the ash pan, or clear off the grate, and then dump your ash pan before you vacuum it all out. But there's quite a bit of ash built up in here. This is normal just over the course of the season. I last vacuumed this out in probably September. It should be done in April. I'm a procrastinator. But that's what that looks like. So that should all be clean. There shouldn't be any ash left on the inside. And we recommend spraying the entire inside of the firebox with fluid film, which is like an oily WD-40 coating that leaves a residual for the summer and helps prevent corrosion. And then once your hopper's clean, that's all vacuumed out. You can spray WD-40 or fluid film on the inside of your hopper too. You want to clean the outside of the unit. Just make sure you get all the dust. If you have pets, I have dogs, so the dog hair gets sucked into all the intakes. You want to replace these air filters on the back of the unit. Coker lights have 10x10s. Cokers have 12x12s. We have all the blowers and filters and everything in stock if you need anything. And you can't see, I might do another video on this later, but there's your combustion blower that blows the air under the grates that provides your constant combustion air for the furnace. Needs to be taken off, and you need to run your shop vac hose into basically the channel where the air blows through under the grates. A lot of people don't know about this, or we get calls on it all the time. There's one screw that holds that Keystoker blower in place for the combustion air. If you take that one screw out, tip the combustion blower off to the side, you can run your shop vac right inside there. And just make sure you do a pretty thorough job. Some guys, myself included, I don't have it here, but we've run like a drain hose, like a 1/2-inch drain hose into that opening, just a little bit easier to worm around inside and get all the corners. But I'm more than happy to help you with that if you need info on it. So that blower needs to come off, vacuum that out really well under the grates, and then you can put your blower back on and everything's serviced for the season. Also want to make sure if there's any oil ports in any of your blowers that you get them oiled. It's a good idea to pull the gear motor and the pusher bar out, get that oiled and brushed off and sandpaper clean and smooth so it's not seized up in the fall. And like I said, I hadn't planned on making a video, so I didn't really turn on any lights in here. I just thought I'd run through this really quick. But where your pusher bar is in the back, it's the plate that slides back and forth. That will seize up over the course of the summer if it's not taken apart and cleaned. So that's a common issue in the fall, is everybody will go back to start it for the year and it won't move. So you either strip the gear motor out, and that's $120 if you do that, or it'll sit there and just turn on itself and gouge into the pusher bar, and that's also $120. So my suggestion would be to take that apart, clean it really well, and then put it back together. And as always, if you have any questions on any of this process, just give me a call or send us a message. Be more than happy to help you with it. So I'm going to get back to work and get this cleaned. Phone number is 585-367-3246. You can also send me an email anytime, steve@thecoalshop.com. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to help. Have a good day.